Hello, I'm running a Kickstarter campaign now. It is my third one, in fact. It is about a trans man on a quest to find his heart and save his girlfriend, who got turned into a mermaid. Maybe. No spoilers. But yeah, it's my third Kickstarter campaign, and with that in mind, I'd like to talk about all the terrible mistakes I have made and how you can avoid the pitfalls if you ever are looking to secure funding for your comic or novel or whatever. Mostly it's just like printed fiction stuff. Maybe nonfiction too. Anyways, so let's begin. I'm stealing Ursula's 5-tip format from yesterday. Ha. Anyways, number 1. You don't need 1,000 books. Unless you're really popular already, you don't need 1,000. That's a lot of books. I know a lot of people who go straight to 1,000 books, and I've gotten plenty of advice telling me to buy 1,000 books because that's when you can start doing offset printing for really good prices. However, if you were a small eensy-beensy creator running your first Kickstarter, someone who's like most likely going to be selling all of your books in your own online store, maybe you get a few into a bookstore, maybe. It's really not gonna affect you, the cost savings you can get out of offset. What's really going to end up affecting you is your funding goal is going to be too high for you to reach. And if you do reach it, well, like, I hope you have a really good storage plan, because 1,000 books is a lot of books, and it'll take you a long time to get rid of them, and for the most part. So instead of that, look into like 300 to 500 books. That's perfectly fine for your first launch. And if it goes really well, you can look into something else. But those are really manageable amounts of books. There's a lot more like smaller printers you can go with who will be good to you. And yeah, just start easy, start small. And if you do manage to get funded with a smaller amount of books, it'll be a lot easier for you to fulfill all of your orders. So number 2, this one's a long one. Double check your numbers and have someone else double check your numbers and then triple check your numbers. Like, you know what's fun? Forgetting to add the shipping number to the end of your Kickstarter campaign and then going at a goal that is much too small. I did that. I did the stupidest thing for the Scourge of 9 Point. I forgot to include shipping in the final total. So instead of the 4,000 I needed, our Kickstarter campaign was only for like 2,500 or something like that. Oh no. Through like some miracle, we ended up doubling our goal and we were able to fund and fulfill the campaign. But don't do that. I'll run down really quickly how you calculate how much money you need for your Kickstarter. So first you need to get a quote on what you're going to be printing. And that means like everything you're going to be printing, not just the books, also like the little pins or whatever that you plan on adding in the bigger tiers. And in my case, I tend to print t-shirts because I like to print t-shirts. And yeah, you take that number, however much it costs for you to print, and then you divide that by the price that you will charge per book. The number that you get tells you how many books you need to sell in order to reach the print run amount. Does that make sense? So after that, whatever number you need to sell, you then multiply that by your shipping rates. For me, I usually use my American shipping rate. Most of my pledges end up going to America. I maybe bump it up a bit just to add a little bit of like wiggle room. But yeah, you calculate the shipping rate times the amount of books you need to fulfill your campaign, and then that will give you your total shipping amount that you will need. At the very minimum, you take your shipping total, you take your printing total, you put them together, and then you add like 20% to that. And why do you add 20%? Well, it's because 5% of that will go to your Kickstarter fees, 5% of that will go to transaction fees, and 10% of that is just in case something goes wrong. Because sometimes people drop pledges that are like hundreds of dollars or maybe thousands of dollars in some people's cases. I'm so sorry to the people that happened to. That's terrible. Yes, things happen. Sometimes you might need to buy something that you didn't just expect, or maybe your printer gave you a quote that didn't include the cost of bleed lines, and you're like, thank you for missing that $1,000. So yeah, make sure to add a little extra just in case, because things do happen. Number 3, keep it simple. The Magpie 2 Kickstarter, well, it barely funded because it was kind of a hot mess. Like, there was a lot of reasons that it didn't fund. Well, it almost didn't fund, but one of the biggest reasons was that it was confusing. There were like 1 million tiers because we wanted to offer options for people that wanted to buy 2 books or 1 book, because we hadn't kickstarted book 1. Make sure to kickstart book 1 so that you have like people interested when you have book 2. That's my advice too, a little secret bonus advice. And when you're making your tiers, keep them simple. Make it a sliding scale. Each one gets better than the last. Maybe if you do have multiple books, you can have 1 tier that has every single book, and then just have everything else have the new book. And if they want to get the extra books, they can just buy them separately. Yeah, go creative, and go for creative digital bonuses rather than things you have to make. Or even just, if you are going to do stuff, have things that you already have on offer. Don't overburden yourself with a whole bunch of commissions. Like, crowdfunding fulfillment is hard enough if you don't offer like 24 commissions bonus. So yeah, keep it easy on yourself. Don't over promise. Number 4, don't overprice your ebook. Another thing wrong that happened in the Magpie Kickstarter. Your ebooks are something that aren't gonna make the bulk of your money. By no means, like, are you gonna make all your money back in ebooks? However, they cost nothing in shipping and nothing in printing, so they're very, very, very helpful for your campaign. The main reason that you want your ebook to be an accessible price range is that it encourages people that wouldn't otherwise support you to throw in a few dollars to test out your work. And again, it's free to you. The other important thing to note about ebooks is that every pledge you get helps you more than just the money that is given. Pledges help connect you to friend networks, for one, because many people follow friends and creators they like on Kickstarter, and they will get notified if those people pledge to something. And all pledges count as engagement, which also helps you in the algorithm and helps you get recommended to more people. If a lot of people are pledging to something, Kickstarter is going to be like, hey, more people should try it out. It's just kind of how it works. It snowballs in that way. So keep your ebook tier cheap, in the single digits. I do somewhere between $2 to $5. Number 5, promote, and rest. Okay, don't sit on your campaign afraid to bother people with it. Ursula always says, like, an ad takes like 7 times before it like registers with someone. Like, the internet is a vast place, and people that want to hear about your work miss it if you don't shout about it. And vary up the ways that you mention your campaign. If you keep promoting it in the exact same way, with the exact same images, with the exact same pitch, people will kind of start to tune it out a bit. They're like, oh yeah, that thing. Whereas if you freshen up your images and you freshen up your pitches, more people who either wouldn't have been interested or have just become bored with your campaign, they might become interested again and support you. And in kind of like an addendum bit to that, like, promotion, if you're a promotion fiend, like, who's constantly promoting, you should take a break too. Like, you can't be constantly promoting all of the time. Make sure to go in this with friends, because like sometimes you'll start to feel that desperation and that anxiousness of just like, oh, I need more pledges, and take a break, relax, it'll be okay. Have your friends support you. Like, you don't have to do this all alone, all by yourself, all sad and such. You know, the worst thing that happens, and, you know, it sucks, but the worst thing that happens is that you don't hit your funding goal, and it's no harm to you. If you don't hit your funding goal, you're not in any trouble. Like, no harm, no foul, basically. And you can try it again another time. And all the people who really wanted to support you before, they'll probably still be there. And if you post an update to your failed campaign, you can get a lot of them back on board, and maybe that momentum will carry you. You know, you get to retool, you get to make mistakes, and you get to learn. Okay, my voice is dying, so I'm gonna stop. Thank you for listening. Check out my Kickstarter campaign if you're interested. It's pretty good. So yeah, we have to hit 3,000 something by the 30th. So let's keep going. Chug, 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 choo, choo trains. Little engine that could. Blah, blah, blah. See you guys also at the live stream tonight. And my voice is really dying.